Awesome. Okay, so welcome to week 2 of Immerse and our version of October Madness. I'm so happy to be with you guys. This morning we have a set of special guests and also some teaching. And I am just thrilled to get into that with you. But first, one intention I wanted to ask you today. When you think about your client support, we're going to talk about all things client support this week. We're going to take a whole week to dig into soft skills and mindsets and all of the things that move the client forward. Yes, they will move our business forward, but they move the client forward, and the client is our business. And so that's what we want to really work on this week together. And I'd like you to put either way. Okay, so your natural is either transactional or transformational, but we are both transactional and transformational. Some of you may have a propensity to be that hero coach, and others of you are going to have the propensity to cut people loose early and be more transactional. There is such a healthy tension in our business of this. And over time, through repetitious trainings, I get told a lot, man, we have so many repetitive trainings. Yeah, we do. Because through repetition, you learn and you hone in on how to have that healthy tension of when do I need to apply my transformational skills, and when do I need to be a little more transactional in this area? Because at the end of the day, the transaction allows the transformation. And then the thing that sits smack dab in the middle of our business and cannot be ignored is trust. This is a relationship, trust-based business. And so we are learning every single day how to have more self-trust as leaders, and also how that will translate into our organization and have clients trusting us, wanting to join the mission. So this morning, I'm going to move out of the way. Think about that, though. Think about it. And you know what? Level up. Tell your mentor, you know what? I think I'm a little more transactional than I am transformational. Well, we're going to need you because on trainings, we need both. On shares, we need both. But identify which one is more core to you in your origin, and we can bring that out. So this morning, I'd love to introduce Justin Aveni, Integrated Presidential Director. I'm so thrilled to call him a friend and also a mentor, and just really be on mission with him. He has taught me so much. And we love him because he's unplugged, he's honest as the day is long, and he just simplifies things. And, here I am. I'm like, literally, we probably polarize each other in some aspects, but it's so all needed. And he has taught Tim and I so many things. And we are just so grateful that he could come on this morning at 6 o'clock and share with us just a little bit of his wisdom with you guys. So take notes. When you hear any speaker say something, I always say, try it on. Right? Try it on and see how it fits. Not everything we say is going to fit. Okay. Some things won't, but listen for what does fit and what does resonate. And that's really going to be a gift this morning. So Justin, take it away, my friend.
Thank you so much. Can you guys hear me okay? We're good? Thumbs up. Good morning, guys. How's everybody doing today? Put a 1 in the chat if we're awake. Our coffee's kicked in. All right. We got coffee going. Cool. Well, I'm excited because I think it's really cool to see how the reciprocation is here. I look up to Rachel too, because her skill set is pretty much second to none when it comes to our business. So you guys have one of the best in the business for sure to teach you guys the proper steps. She talked about client support and what that looks like. And I think one of the biggest topics we're going to talk about today is mindset. And first word I think of with client support and mindset is empathy, right? We want to be able to make sure that we don't want it more than they do, because it can be detrimental and emotionally attaching. Every person that comes on, if you feel like it's your fault that they failed, I'll just get that out of the way right now, then you start to slowly get your action steps diluted. We don't want to be talking to as many people and doing things like that. So I always start out with the word empathy. It's kind of important. One thing I will tell you guys though is, Rachel asked me to share, how do you see each client as a coach? And we were honestly chatting before this. Obviously, we get on a few minutes before. And one of the things that I see, because I came into this differently, is I didn't come into it for weight loss. So I see everybody out the gate as a coach even before they're a client. Now, whether they sign up or not when we're talking, that's a whole different story. But I always listen to everything. And I think that's important for you guys, is when you start out with the health assessment, challenge the health assessment when they talk about their stress, what their job is. Don't just blow past that and focus on the meal plan and the weight loss and how old they are and how tall they are and their BMI, but really hear what they have to say when they talk about their sleep, and really hear what they say when they're talking about their stress levels and what their stress level is, and ask a little bit further questions there. Just to give an example and start out with my buddy's sister, Cody. He treats this as a diet. He's done it 3 or 4 times. He always calls me up, hey, I need to get a box of food. I honestly don't even engage him. I was like, bro, if you want to get a box of food, go for it. You know where your website's at. You know how to log in. I'm not going to spend my time supporting you in that aspect. But if you want to utilize the food, go for it. But that being said, he still refers people. And I go immediately into the proper steps of how to coach them. And like I was sharing with Rachel, if somebody's going to give you the proper responses, and this is tough for us to hear, is like she said, when you need them, you feel like you need them financially, you want to do everything you can to get them to stay. But I do the proper steps. And honestly, if I see them reciprocating that, I will stay with them and support them the proper ways. If not, we move them down the list a little bit. But going back to my buddy's sister, she called me up, or she messaged me on Facebook, and she says, hey, Cody says I really need to do your program. Now she's a new mom of 2 kids, young ones. One's I think about a little over a year old, and she's in real estate, and she's actually got the doctor telling her she's not doing well. She's about to get put on medications, and she's younger than me. I think she's like 31 or 32, and she's probably 60 pounds overweight. But like I was sharing with Rachel, is for me, I just see it as the bigger picture out the gate. So before the call's over, she's just spewing out everything that life has hit them with. So from them being stressed out financially, for her to have to go back to work, then her husband seeing it as she's not home enough with the kids. So now it's a stress on their relationship. And meanwhile, she just wanted to sign up to be a client, right? And lose some weight and maybe not get on these medications. By the end of the call, basically, I told her, I says, listen, real talk, I know Cody treats this as a diet, just to be honest with you, but this can really change your life. And here's my story. And I don't know if you even know this, because I don't assume. That's something I very learned early on, is I don't assume, because that can really cause you problems. If you think people already know what you do, and you think they already know your story because of how long you've been in this. And she didn't. And I've been doing this over 8.5 years, and I've been good friends with Cody since high school. So if I assumed he told her the whole story, I'd be in a lot of trouble coming through the gate. So that being said, I talked to her. I said, listen, you say all these things, and I just want to be honest with you. This isn't just a weight loss program. This is a full offering here. This is a full offering of financial stability, mental stability. We have people come into it just for the community. And then we also have physical health. And I know we're focused on your physical health right now, but to be really honest with you, I'd rather see you be able to sell a house. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but she does real estate now because she wants the flexible time. But I made the key points of hearing things. And I said, maybe you want to sell a house when you want to sell a house, and it's not so stressful for the financial side. We have a lot of teachers that coach because that 4 months out of the year is a stress for them. But we also have real estate agents that coach because they don't want to have to sell this house. And now it's like us trying to get a client. If you can relate it back to that, we need that client to hit this rank. It doesn't become fun, and people feel that. And so I shared it with her. So by the end of the call, she's already added to the Chasing Better group, right? And she's also added into the client group, and she signed up. She was ready to go. Obviously, that wasn't too hard, but she knows everything that's about to unfold. So it's not like when do I have the opportunity to say it? Or I feel like I'm bugging her about coaching. She just wanted to be a client. So that's first and foremost. That's how I start everybody out. They already know everything there is in the vehicle before they even get in the car. So moving forward to how to support a client and where you look at them as far as that, it's very simple, guys. This isn't our program to shortchange. Dr. A didn't spend 19 years to then have us say, well, this client's very private, so they don't need a client support call. They don't need a celebration call. Well, this client hasn't really mentioned to me coaching, so I'm not going to mention it to them. So we're wondering why they're falling off because they can't afford their next program, or their boss is yelling at them every day and they're stressed out and they don't want somebody else, even though we mean well, telling them what to do. So they decide to fall off, right? So the thing with this is when you start somebody out right out the gate, health assessment or not, do yourselves a favor, go a little bit further with them and point out the opportunities. Start to learn these soft skills. One of the things you'll learn is reference things that make sense for you. Share your story out the gate. That's something we don't do. I'll be honest with you, been around a long time. A lot of us don't even know how to share our own story. That's why we always ask, well, how do you talk to a stranger? I don't know how you do that. How do you talk to a friend? You share your story, right? So I'm blessed, and I'm going to start it out with this. I'm blessed because Jamil didn't look at me as a weight loss candidate or put me on his chubbies list, as we like to say lightly, because I had the six pack. I had the beach body. I was physically fit on the outside, even though I was doing 2 and 3 energy drinks a day, 4 to 5 cups of coffee a day. I was getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Me and Jenny weren't getting along too well because she's going to school to be a nurse. She has no time to work. She's stressed out because she's type A personality and she needs to get an A+ in her class, or it didn't happen, right? And so Jamil saw stuff in us that I was so grateful for. He said, hey, you're always into health and fitness. This would be a great opportunity for you. And like most of your clients or coaches, I didn't come right away. It took me 7 months. But he was salting my oats. He was taking Jenny to lunches. They'd go hang out with their local girlfriends because they grew up together and went to school together. And so finally, it took that time to where I was just over it and I was fed up. And that's something honest, right? Just like Cody's sister, she's fed up. Now the doctor's telling her what to do and her way's not working. And my way wasn't working either. So I came into the program. I literally, probably besides the call, back then we called it an interested script. Besides that, making me most nerve-wracking, not wanting a Facebook, not knowing how to use a smartphone, not knowing how to use a computer, not knowing how to send out emails. And I said, you know what? This dude's making 11 grand a month. I probably should just shut up and listen. I'm just going to be honest with you. Just like my boss knew how to roof and I listen to him, what's the difference? Right? But that's a pay number. So we kind of look at it differently than an entrepreneurial number. But for me, I was just like, all right, man, let's do this. And so a lot of people look at this number and they don't look at the other number, but I brought on 28 clients in 30 days. Now, I talked to over 500 people, probably we estimated in that month to make that happen, because everybody always looks at the 28 clients. They don't look at the behind the scenes, right? How many shots did Colby miss or Jordan miss before they got in the game? But that being said, I was stoked. And I was so grateful he didn't look at me as a chubbies list. So write that down when you guys are looking for people. Like, start it out with, who are we looking for? Are we just looking for weight loss people because we came into this for weight loss and then trying to find clients, or excuse me, coaches? Or are we looking for people that just need everything? When I'm talking to somebody, if they say I'm stressed out, they need coaching. If I talk to somebody and they say they need weight loss, I talk about coaching. When I talk to somebody and they say they need the community, I talk about coaching. Why? It reminds me of my good friend, David Harrison. He needed to lose 120 pounds. I even helped him get into the Navy 5 years before that and put a sweat wrap on him and all that stuff. That was his struggle, but he wasn't going to find health until he found finances. And so that's how I approached him. So that's how I say to you guys is, how do we look for people? Do we have our chubby goggles on? That's important to understand. And then how do you support them? It's a process. Right? You bring the client on, you talk to them about the program, you do the health assessment. Even if it's a friend, you don't say, oh yeah, just give me your info, we'll talk about it later, right? And I know with Rachel's team, you guys are probably on top of that, but organization wide, people do that. I had a buddy the other day, hey, I got this good friend, can I just get his information? Nope, we're going to do a health assessment, right? Because if he shows up as a coach later on, guess what? How his program's going to roll. Oh, I signed up 6 guys. Okay, so what's their information? Oh, well, they're just buddies, so it's all good. And now you start the downward spiral of having to fix stuff, right? Because if they become a coach, That's usually how they run their organization. I was sharing with Rachel earlier too, is, Craig Chapman used to come in and he would do a lot of health fairs. So his team did a lot of health fairs. Justin Aveni came into it for the business. So he brought on a lot of business partners and males at that, right? It's just how the organizations roll. So you look at your traits, you'll start to bring in what your mindset is. And so you want to be a little weary of that, because if your mindset's all weight loss, you're going to bring in all executive directors frontline. And I'm going to tell you something that's kind of scary, but this is a statistic by one of the top. Most executive directors that are only frontline only stay around for about 2 years. So that's important to learn. You want to integrate the client in, just like you want to integrate the coach in. Another thing I'll tell you guys too is, how do you make a successful client? You let them do the work. Oh, well, they're private, so I'm just going to post on our client support page for them. I'm going to rally them. I look at that and I say, that's a no-no. You want to get them out of their shell, because if people aren't seeing what they're doing, then if they failed, it's okay. We're supporting that. We want to push them out of their shell. We want to build the confidence. We want to empower them, not enable them. Right? So the thing is when they say, hey, where's this? Well, why don't you go look in this book? Well, hey, what about healthy recipes? Why don't you ask the question in the group? Well, hey, what do you think about this? That's a great question. Why don't you go here and look at this? Hey, you know what? You did amazing on week 1. I'd love it if you'd go in and support somebody else today and share your weight loss and how many inches you're down and how you're feeling. And guess what? At the end of the day, they're not always going to do it. Surprise, right? Wink at me if you guys have clients that do everything you ask them to do, right? But that's the important key, is we empower them, we don't enable them. If we start doing everything for them, you might as well just be teaching them a diet, to be honest with you. They're not gonna learn anything. They're gonna be the same thing. Now, going to the unfun stuff, empathy, don't be attached. Let's be real. People are gonna blame. People are not gonna want to do what you're asking them to do. So guess what? You're not gonna spend all that time with them. So when you're looking for coaching partners, what traits are you looking for? We talk about it even outside of your clients. Do they have great work ethic? Do they have passion? Are they excited about stuff? What are they looking for in life? And it all goes back to the health assessment. And then it goes back to even before that. You can almost do a health assessment. I don't know if you guys have ever done this. This is just like autopilot for me now. Even when you go hang out somewhere. I went out for a birthday party at a restaurant. I went to Shelly Garcia's 40th birthday, and the real estate agent that sold her mom's house. We're BFFs now. I kind of did a health assessment without even, it was like a regular conversation at the dinner table, right? She doesn't know what I'm asking her. She doesn't know what our health assessment looked like. I didn't ask her her height and her weight, but you get to know the whole person and where their reference is at. Like what are they looking for in life? She's very driven. Her boyfriend's a business owner. They've been together. They got multiple kids, all older. But most of us don't take the time of the day to think about that. So learn how to do this, like even before the client shows up. Going back to my story, I brought on 28 clients in 30 days and I was floored. In fact, I didn't even have my direct deposit set up. I don't know if you guys know this funny story. So I'm calling Jamil on week 5 and 6, like, hey bro, like, where's my money? And he goes, well, what do you mean? I was like, I haven't got paid. He's like, well, did you set up your direct deposit? And of course, little old Justin over here, construction guy. Well, what is that? Real talk. I didn't even know where that was at. Meanwhile, 2 days later, my mom calls me and she goes, hey, because I'd moved around so much, or me and Jenny moved around so many apartments. She goes, hey, you got a bunch of checks in the mail. I'm like, well, open them. She's like, but they're checks. I said, I don't care, open them. She goes, well, one's for $1,200, one's for $800, one's for $600. There's another one for $450. I'm like, oh, it is on. Merry Christmas to me. I'm down. Made $3,100 my first month. And I didn't get yelled at. That was the best part. I wasn't in the sun. I didn't have fiberglass on me. I wasn't worried about sunblock, and I was having a good time. And so it was game over from there. So I think the biggest thing I will tell you is look at a client as a whole. A client is already a coach, even if they don't know that they're a coach. And not everybody's going to want to coach. And not everybody's going to be a successful client. That's an obvious. But if we integrate somebody in, if we follow the steps, we do the health assessment, we go a little bit further in the health assessment and we find out what the mindset is and the financial set is. And then when they decide to sign up, then we do the startup call. We layer in coaching again. We really dive in, start thinking about what they said. And like for me, it was so autopilot. I did it at the health assessment. But if you're not that great with the soft skills yet, think about what they said in their health assessment for the financial side and the stressful side. And do they enjoy it? And how much sleep do they get? How many kids do they have? If you don't feel like there's any area, this person makes 6 figures a year and they have a lot of time freedom and stuff, but they said they have 3 kids, 6 figures is still not a lot of money, especially in California for 3 kids, especially for college funds, especially for cars to eventually buy, especially for clothing and stuff like that, right? So learn what they said. So when you hit that first startup call, say, hey, I've been thinking about you. And honestly, you mentioned you have 3 kids. I know you make great money and it sounds like you have really flexible time, but I'll tell you this, when I mentioned this blessed my life, there's so many opportunities here for, even as you start to have people show or ask you what you're doing, because it's inevitable over the next 2 to 3 weeks. I would honestly say it's super simplistic of how this is going to kind of roll out and you're going to support them. And honestly, even if you bring them to me and they do decide to sign up, which it's very rare that they will, because they know you that more than they know me, you're going to coach them anyways. So it's always that reference point, even to the very vaguest health assessment to the most detailed health assessment. There's always that opportunity. Well, you told me you're stressed out. I got a buddy right now. His dad gives him an allowance. He's 50% owner of a construction company, but he gets pissed at his dad because his dad sits on his high horse and just sits there and yells at him all day. Money ain't worth that sometimes, especially when it's with family. So he signed up as a client. We're working on his coaching stuff, and he's going to move forward. And the guy, they make really good money. They do like Laguna Hills. I don't know how many, everybody's in California, Newport Beach, concrete. They're not doing cheap houses. He makes really good money, but he doesn't like his relationship with his dad. So guess what? Money ain't everything. So even in that aspect, he's got the lifted truck. He's got a Can-Am. He's got RV. He's got his own house. He's a single father. Right? Even in that industry, you can still find reasons for them to coach. So that being said, is really get attached to their why, right? Integrate them in, make sure that they're doing the action steps. And also when you get a little bit of resistance, don't fight with them in a nice way, right? We don't want to fight with people, but even if they say, well, I don't really want to post right now, say that's okay, but you'll want to post. And then ask them questions. How many posts do you post, or how many posts do you read a day in that client group? Oh, I'm in there all the time, or I'm in there every now and then, but I do see some inspirational stuff. Imagine if you could inspire somebody today. Right? Don't just say, hey, go post in there. No, I don't want to. Okay, no problem. Don't want to bug you. Learn those soft skills. Just like when they say I'm stressed out. Ask them a few more questions that's on the health assessment that you need to write down yourself that are not even on there. Well, what do you mean you're stressed out? Tell me more about that. What does that mean? Oh, well, everybody does that. The job. Well, I honestly don't. For at least the last 8.5 years, I don't know what that means. So can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit? Well, your boss and you make good money, and you have good, right? You have your good, your good benefits. I love that one. You have your good benefits. But the thing is you got to really get to know the person. This is a people building relationship, guys. And I know Rachel wanted me to talk about how do I see clients as coaches, but I just see people as the whole thing. Like, I don't even know how to talk to somebody about losing 100 pounds without them knowing about the healthy mind and the healthy finances. Because at the end of the day, it's almost like AA. I tell people that if you go and sponsor a bunch of people, you're going to be more successful on your own journey. Even if you don't need the finances, even if you don't think you have the time. Most people have the time. They posted a thing the other day about Elon Musk, owner of 4 different $1 million companies. And we talk about, we don't have time. Guy sleeps 5 hours a day, right? We got time. Everybody's got time. There's that next level. So when you're talking to these guys and you're looking at clients, always look with your mindset financial, and their physical, because they all correlate. And you'll start to lose people. If you're fearful to share with them about mindset and you're fearful to share with them about finances, and we wonder why they're dipping away, we didn't get to know that person that well. And some people aren't going to share with you. They're going to have their walls up. Life happens. People get beat up all the time, right? So I say that to say this. Every client is a coach. They just don't know it. Every client is a coach. We have to find the reason why. We have to believe in them when they don't believe in themselves. But we also don't want to believe in them more than they believe in themselves. And you know what I mean by that is you can't drag somebody to success. You'll burn yourself out. Client-wise, mentally wise, financially wise. So when you guys are making your lists out the gate, try to get good at soft skills. Try to get good at what are the 3 areas that this is going to help them. Not just, well, they just came to me for weight loss, Justin, so I don't want to push them. We're not pushing them. Trust me. They just don't know what they don't know yet. And we got to open those other 2 doors. So I hope this was helpful. I didn't set my alarm, but I do notice it's 6:30, so I was rambling a little longer than I was supposed to. But just look at every person, not even a client, guys. It's every person as a coach. So I hope this was helpful, Rachel.
Oh my gosh, who's glad that we hit the record button? I'm like, heck yeah. I looked up there, I had a little panic attack because I'm like, oh, woo, okay. So oh my gosh, so much stuff. And I can't even begin to recap it all, but we will work with it all week. We will work with it all week, because think about this. Are you enjoying book challenge more regularly as a client or as a coach? Are you training and reading more self-development books more as a coach or as a client? Are you getting on more trainings in your life as a client or a coach? Are your friendships healthier as a client or as a coach? So when you ask, how is this good for client support? Because if they're not a coach, they're going to leave and they're not going to finish their life book. It's going to end up at a yard sale with dust on it. That's what we know. That's why we fight for them and contend to connect with what Justin was saying is don't profile. He said, don't profile, pursue them so that you can understand what is the hardest part about being them. The hardest part about being Justin pre-Optavia was getting yelled at by his boss, not appreciated, overworked, underpaid, no balance. That was the hardest part about being him. He didn't need to see more abs. That was great, but that wasn't his story. And he's exactly right. However you see it is how you're going to talk about it. And he saw the financial, and we can't afford to be ashamed of the trilogy. So my question for you is, what part of the trilogy? That is our offering. That is our mission and vision. Most Americans have less than $1,000 in their bank account right now, and they are one house payment away from being homeless. Dr. A knew that. So we have a trilogy, and it's okay. For me, I totally hid parts of the trilogy because I didn't have enough personal development to be able to share the trilogy. So I stuck around long enough and listened to enough trainings until people like Justin started to awaken me. And I thought, I don't want to be a food cop. I want to be a health coach. And a health coach coaches every aspect of health, not just what you're putting in your mouth. So that was amazing, Justin. Thank you so much. A page of notes, but I'm going to move out of the way and introduce Sherrie Nalty. She is going to give us a skill today. So Sherrie Nalty and Patrick, they're both on. Awesome. Love it. We have the privilege of working with them. And guys, their passion is like next level, right? Next level passion. On my days where I'm just running empty and I engage them, it's like, that's it. I'm on fire again. So today they're going to absolutely dig in and share with you as integrated national directors. They are going to share with you, or actually Sherrie is today. Patrick's going to speak with us later this week. How is team coaching a part of client support and integration? And they're just going to give some nuggets on what has been working for them. There are some things in their business, guys, that we don't see across the organization. And that's okay. That's why we take someone that's doing something really well and we get them on a training, right? So let's go ahead and hear from Sherrie. Are you there, my friend? I am going to mute myself and let you take it away.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Hi, everyone. Wow. Justin just dropped some stuff and I'm like, wow. So 2 years in and I just wanted to share about team coaching. This is what I was asked to share on, and as it relates to integration. So as I thought about that, I wanted to share that couple of things. First of all, is that when it comes to team, I think about a group of people coming together to meet a common goal. And I thought about as it pertains to team coaching. So then I start thinking about Optavia coaches, right? So in thinking about Optavia coaches, I thought about how we are like-minded people. We're going in the same direction. We have so much passion. And our goal, what is our goal? Our goal is the mission of our founder, Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, as you all know. And I thought about three things I wanted to share with you, dig in with this morning. Something that we've been working on, and it's working for us, is Zooming as far as integration calls, affirming our coaches that have actually brought that call to us, and of course, Dr. A, because how can we really have Optavia and even talk about the mission without the person that is the founder, right? Our co-founder. So I'm laughing, you guys, and you'll find out about me. Patrick says, I'm sure Patrick would have said, you shouldn't say this, but I'm here struggling with my phone because I want to make sure I set my alarm because I get real passionate. So if you all pray for me, I think I'm going to be able to come through and just really hit this out. So as far as the Optavia coaches, we are a team that's distinguished from any other groups because what? We are passionate. I mean, we are married to the mission. How many are married to the mission of Optavia? How many? All right. And I think that's what really pulled me in. I got married and to the mission immediately. And I'll share about that a little bit later. So, this model that we have as a team, it's already been established. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Okay, we are professional health coaches, and what we do, we duplicate. It's basically wash, rinse, and repeat, right? So what's great is this: we come in first as clients most of the time, based on what Justin said. Okay, most of the time. So one thing that I really try to convey to our team members is this: allow people to experience what makes Optavia so great. Allow them to experience in the first week fat burn. And when they experience fat burn, you guys remember how you felt when you experienced fat burn? It was on, right? It was on. So when someone experiences that versus you telling them about it, then guess what? They start to believe this thing really works. So I wanted to share that for us, these three parts in team coaching, specifically in integration, because when someone is integrated, you know how we say they're all in, okay? People are gonna come all in because we have a product, guys, that work. We don't have to make it up. We don't have to try to sell anything. Why? Because the product speaks for itself. And we are just here as coaches to really protect the brand, right? I thought about why is it important in us protecting the brand as a team to do so? Well, I think about something that happened to me when I first started as a client, and I got this, and I'm going to call him T. Rich. Y'all know who T. Rich is? Tim Richards. What he did, and I want to say this: when our coaches schedule us for an integration, that 2-week call, they already know that that call is going to be on a Zoom just like this. Please let your people know that they're going to get on a call and they're going to meet your coach, and it's going to be Zoom, and we're going to actually see each other. I was unprepared for that when I first met T. Rich. That's Tim Richards, right? Guys, it scared me so badly. Okay, I had barely known how to do Zoom, and I'm gonna tell you why it scared me. I wasn't camera ready. Now, I didn't look bad, but if I had known that we were going to see each other, I would have prepared. So our team knows that when they come to us for an integration call, we're going to show up. Why is it important? So one point I want to leave you with, start with, is this: our integration calls for week 2, it's going to be on Zoom, and we're going to represent. Right? So why is it important to Zoom for us? It's important because it's personable, okay? What do we do in Optavia? We establish trust right out the gate. So when you're looking at people and they're seeing you as, as much as possible as I'm seeing you all in these square boxes this morning, it starts now to make them say, wow, this is a real person. So this is one tip. We want to Zoom because now this is a part of establishing trust. Number 2, we are professionals, okay? You hear this all the time on training. People come to Optavia, not for Optavia, but for what? For us, right? Guys, I didn't even know how to pronounce the name Optavia when I first started the business. And my daughter, she said, Mommy, I felt so good. I'm talking day 5. I was in fat burn for real. And I was just kept going on about this program. And she says, Mommy, if this is something you're going to do, can you please learn how to say it? Okay, so people are coming to Optavia because of us. So when we get on a Zoom, the first thing I do, and this is going to lead me into point 2 in affirming our coaches. The first thing I do, and we just started doing it, and it blows them away, and I love it. So we get on the Zoom because we show up professionally. They see that we are real people that have a real product, and they see that what we are Optavians. We model that which we say. So y'all see me with my little dazzly earrings. Come on, ladies. How many times you get on the Zoom and y'all see my earrings or you see my turbans? Why? I want to attract you and the men too, to let you know what? I need to get my wife on this program, right? So I do these things intentionally because I know that when I experienced fat burn, it changed everything. So I can talk about it, but then I can be about it. And when you see me, you're gonna say, "Oh wow, I gotta do this," because what? Seeing is believing, right? So the first thing is this, going back to my first point. So we show up professional. We're not driving as we're doing our integration calls. We're not cooking and having sidebars. We are here because we want people to know we care, right? So now this is something that I've incorporated point 2. We now turn around and we show our before and after. So I got this from my mentors. I'm not doing anything different. Actually, T. Rich is who I first got it from. He shows up a before and after picture, and I thought, wow, I've got to do this. So when my team brings their clients and prospective coaches to our Zoom room, can I share my screen with you? Guess what, guys? I say what I've heard Tim say over and over again. Anthony, I know it's kind of awkward talking to someone that you don't really know. And I just say, I'm going to share my screen with you. And boom, I'm showing our before and after so they know what's possible. And I'll say, because my coach says yes, I said yes. I tell a quick little thing about me. My husband said yes. And it's all about how we posture everything as well on that integration call. And I'll make it a point because so many times, and I heard Justin just say, we always think it's weight loss, weight loss. So I say, my husband didn't have a weight loss problem, okay? He didn't have, he was not on medication. I say this intentionally because I found out in 2 years, people think that you're healthy if you're not on medication. Excuse me, you're healthy if I think I said that right. If you're not taking medications and if you don't have a lot of weight to lose, they think that you're healthy. Okay, so that's something that we have to dispel right out of the gate. So what I turn around and do with my coaches that schedule us for that call, and when I see their faces, it's everything. I put their before and after picture up, and I'll say, because we said yes, in turn they said yes, and thousands of other people, and you should see the coaches on mute. They're like, and if it's a client of a coach, and this is a new coach coming in, I go to their page and I find their before and after, guys, and I put it up too, because I want them to see this is possible, what we're getting ready to embark in. And I think it's golden, the reactions that we get from the coaches, because they didn't expect it. They thought we were going to just share about us. So as we go further, wanted to share too that it's important to affirm these coaches. And why do we affirm our coaches? Because we want them to know that we are not the experts, okay? And everything we do it as a team. Isn't that beautiful? And in affirming our coaches, here's another thing that we do. Intentionally take them off mute and say, Adrian, is there anything that I may have missed? Because I want their feedback and I want them to know that they are valuable to the process as well, right? And they'll say most of the time, no, you've covered everything. And in affirming that coach, it's so important in this team coaching that we'll say things like, thank you so much, whoever that coach is, Rachel, for sharing this time, for allowing me to share this time with you. And what I typically would kind of put in at the end, whoever that prospective coach is, I'll say, are we friends on Facebook? And they'll say no. And I'll say, be sure to follow me or friend me and follow our journey. Why am I doing that? Because if this is a prospective coach, right? Because this is an integration call. This is an integration call. There's the reason why I asked them to follow me or friend me. I'm going to their page because as we're a team, I'm going to start celebrating them, but I'm not going to make it look all weird or anything. And another thing that I see when I ask them to friend or follow me, when they start showing up on my story, I know they're interested. And I'll ping my coaches and say, so-and-so that you brought to me, they're following me. They are on my story a lot. So I need you to remember, get them back into my room, because I asked I think I was going too fast. I asked that coach prior to jumping on, and for that integration call, I'll ask them specifically, did you do a week 1 check-in? Now, I don't want to make it sound like I'm micromanaging, but if they did a week 1 check-in, my coach, the next thing I'm going to say is, did this person get into a good fat burn? Right? And I ask them that specifically, and they'll say, oh yes, or they're not sure, because some of our coaches are new. I know how to posture that integration call. And then I'll say to that coach, are they in chasing better? So when I do a systems check, if I know that they're already in chasing better, now this now gives me the opportunity to talk about our true offering, right? So this is why it's important for me to ask my coaches some simple questions prior to that person coming on the call with me, so I'll know how to flow. And of course, you know, they come in typically, and this is week 2, and they think this is just a diet. How many thought when you first came on it was just a diet? Let's be honest. I remember telling Rachel, okay, when I first came, and she kept saying to me, why do you want to coach? And I kept thinking, why does she keep asking me the same thing? So I was like, I started to get irritated, guys, because of my story and because of where I was. I didn't remember half that stuff on the health assessment. All I wanted to know is because, again, I saw a ministry partner friend. I saw his transformation. I didn't know anything about Optavia. I looked at his transformation and I was in after I prayed about it, right? So the third thing that I want to bring to your attention is what we do on our integration calls is that we talk about the visionary leader. So when I'm on a call, you better believe integration call, I'm going to show Dr. A. And this is why is it important for me to show Dr. A? Because, looks like my camera, okay. Thank you, Rachel. So guys, when I met Dr. A, everything changed, okay? I wanted to just stop here and say, team coaching and integration, we can't have a party without the person that started the party almost 19 years ago, without mentioning him and why he is so important to us. This is when shift happened with me at a convention this year. When you see how Dr. A embraced me, to you all, oh, it's just a hug. Guys, you have no idea. I can talk now from a heart of experience about his passion and his mission and why we can be so different, so many cultures, so many nationalities, but we have so much in common. And what is the common? His vision to make healthcare, which we know really is sick care, the alternative. Guys, when you meet our co-founder, it shifted everything. I don't even know if T. Rich remembered when he said to me, Sherry, it was a shift. You have no idea. So I can talk about this program passionately because of this man. He's changed thousands and thousands of lives. And we as a team coaching together in the aspect of integration, we can talk about it with no reservation because what he's changed our lives forever. He's changed so many of our lives, thousands and thousands, over 50,000 plus, they said at convention. Why? Because we're a group of coaches that come together and we are in this because we are the bloodline of Optavia, because his mission is to transform this world one healthy habit at a time and get the world healthy. So we can't leave him out. It's all about him. Thank you so much, Rachel and Tim.
Thank you so much for firing us up. So 3 things that I want you to hold on to. And we started this when I was chatting with Sherry this week. She Zooms her health assessments.
Mhm.
Now, does that mean that you cannot do it on the phone? Oh my gosh, I can't, I don't know. No. There's going to be bronze level of trust building, silver and gold. I choose gold because I don't have time to backtrack, guys. I don't have time to backtrack. And I have learned that backtracking trust takes more time than platinum and gold from the beginning. That's what I've learned, and that's what I'm implementing. So do you Zoom your health assessments? She doesn't have as much trouble with integration calls and team coaching because she starts that trust from day one. That's a clue for you this morning. Secondly, she does not leave Dr. A out of the calls. I can't tell you how many health assessments I've been on where I'm like, he was never mentioned. His vision was never mentioned. His vision was never mentioned. His story was never mentioned, and it's powerful. We can't leave Dr. A out of the conversation. Number 3 is with team coaching, make it normal from the beginning, be excited about it. And definitely we want to get on to our action steps here. So let me do that and get you guys out of here this morning. I know we've gone a little bit over. I hope that it was worth it for all of you. And I know it was for me. So here we go. Catch up on any recordings you've missed. Elevate day 6. Unless you work through the weekend, you'll find yourself on day 8. Again, not for us to micromanage, but to love on you and encourage you. Drop wherever you're at in your business thread. That is loving accountability. You'll have less temptation to fall behind because you'll know, like, I got to keep these going in my business thread because I want what I want. We want what you want. 5 minutes a day in your life book, element 3, we're still there for the book challenge. And then your sugar shot post. If you haven't gotten that picture in, I would work on this today, tomorrow. This is for this week. This is our power post for the week, right? We do these every day. And then we have like a power post. That's our sugar shot. It's going to start a lot of conversations. And then over the course of this week, Justin opened your eyes. What's your trilogy story? Start sharing it and write it out this week. Do you know those clients, guys, that say, well, I don't want to share anything about my health journey. I don't want anyone knowing I'm doing this. Has anyone but me had those where they're like, I don't even want to be added to this. This is so private for me. I'm so embarrassed. And I'm like, wait a second. That, like Justin said, that's going to keep them locked up. Can I share with you with all the love in the world? That's how I feel when we don't share the trilogy. Like we're doing the same thing that our client does. We're like, I'm not talking about how it's blessing me financially. I'm not talking about like money's taboo. And we do the same thing in our coaching journey. I don't want to talk about the financial blessings. So then who's not going to get breakthrough because they can't see the life that we live? Guys, at the end of the day, we behave just like our clients because we are a client. We are a client and we behave just like them because we are one. So let's keep growing together and let's see people bigger today. Thank you guys for hanging on a little longer. We were so blessed. This recording will be up later today so you can tag anybody that missed it. Take care.